Hey everybody, I am Tintin, that is T-I-N as in not on my watch, and T-I-M as in make my day. So, I realized that if I want to build a successful YouTube channel, I have to make YouTube videos. Imagine that. So, Tuesdays are my study day. I get all my work done for grad school, so I figured while I'm home all day doing my studying, why not also have Tuesdays be my getting face and talk into my computer for a little while day. Tuesdays for the next several weeks also happen to be the day that the newest episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars will be going live on the Logo website, so I also thought, why not be like everybody else and do a little bit of video recapping here and there. It's what all the cool kids are doing now, and I believe first and foremost in conformity. Obviously, I wore my little pink earrings in honor of the great fallen Pandora Boxx because she wore a very similar pair in an episode of RuPaul's Drag U. I don't know where she got hers, mine are from Forever 21. So let's talk about last night's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. The first episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, what I want to say first is just to express my disappointment in how I kind of felt like they set up Mimi I'm First and Pandora Boxx for failure. When I saw that they had chosen Mimi as one of the queens, I was hoping that they were not going what seems to me the very predictable route and bringing her in just as a spoiler, or just to, just to have someone to go home first. I have never seen Mimi perform, but from what I have heard about her and what I get, she's a very smart queen, she is a creative queen, and she is a queen that is a dynamic performer. So I feel like the whole, Mimi is not as capable as the other sort of script is really more about the characters that they're molded into by the show, by its producers. I was hoping that they would pick a different character for Mimi this time, or kind of show us more of what she's capable of that we haven't gotten to see. It's disappointing to me that they went the real predictable route. To me, it starts to feel a little bit like, professional wrestling, where people play the same characters over and over again, and you know what the script is, you know what they're going to say to each other. And I feel like Pandora knew that that was the character that Mimi was likely to be conscripted into, and I'm already seeing a lot of fans and a lot of people on the internet really saying Pandora brought this on herself with her negativity and not just going with it and making the best of the situation and supporting Mimi. That may be true. Keep in mind, we're only seeing what's edited, but I do also think that Pandora's a smart person, and I think that my suspicion is that she came to similar conclusions about why Mimi was there and that it was a setup, and given her own experience of not being fully appreciated for what she's capable of in season 2, I think projected some of that onto the situation and thought, well, me and Mimi are clearly the ritual sacrifices. And I think she was upset about that. I do think it had more to do with the production than with Mimi herself. No one's ever going to talk about that, obviously, because, don't look behind the curtain, right? I think that, I think Pandora either had her own knowledge or suspicions of why Mimi was there and then what it meant to be paired with her. The casting process is all about not just who's really talented, but how will they interact with each other and go together to make interesting television, because ultimately it's a TV show. But I guess my argument is, when you can predict everything that's going to happen, where it's going, then that is not interesting television, and I feel like it begins to insult my intelligence and the intelligence of a lot of viewers. So I feel like Pandora knew that Mimi was getting set up for failure probably from the get-go, or was likely to, based on past history. And Pandora as well is someone who I feel like she's one of the most popular girls who's ever been on the show, and a really vivid and entertaining performer. And I feel like, again, this was edited and framed to give her this kind of weird underdog story where it's like she had something to prove. Pandora Boxx has nothing to prove. I don't think. She's already a superstar. And I realize that it's a competition. It's only about what they bring to it while they're on the show. Their history and their past shouldn't matter to a certain degree, but I also feel like there's a basic level of respect versus disrespect. And when you have someone like Pandora, who's really proven herself already, then why are you creating this narrative about her need to prove herself? In the edit, even though Chanel and Chad did not have the greatest challenge, they still gave them this edit that I feel like paid respect to their experience and talent, and I don't feel like Pandora was afforded the same courtesy, which is unfortunate. In general, I feel like the show has not been very kind to camp queens, to theatrical queens. For whatever reason, I don't know if that's not what Rue personally is into, if it's not what Absolute Vodka thinks is a good spokesmodel for their product, whatever it is. People say that the show has privileged pretty girls, which I don't think is true at all, really. I think that the weirdos and the freaks have actually done quite well. Nina Flowers was a runner-up, Raja won, Sharon Needles won, Angina is a favorite of Rue's and of the audience's and went pretty far in her season, and now Tammy Brown is getting her due. Outsider art part of the drag community does get its due on the show, but camp and theater, not so much. It becomes problematic because RuPaul's Drag Race is not just a show, it has become one of the only mainstream standard bearers for drag in general and drag history, and so then people outside the community who are viewers begin to see this as representative of something. So if the show doesn't at least pay some modicum of respect for the history of camp and theater drag, then I feel like that has repercussions beyond just what we see on screen. And so I hope that going forward through the rest of the season, people fall into some more unexpected roles. I'm hoping against hope that they don't have Jara, Sophia, and Alexis Mateo misunderstand every challenge because of their English skills and what was that? And aren't they crazy? That shit's tired. I hope that they don't have Tammy Brown become a little too weird for the challenge or too inflexible about the kind of drag she does and bring down Nina Flowers. I want it to not go the direction that we're expecting, and I feel like they are to a certain extent shaping it into what they think fans want. The other thing that annoyed me about it is I think that photo challenges are arbitrary. Anyone who's ever watched Top Model knows that like a photo challenge is just a great way for the judges to get rid of whoever they really want to get rid of. That's my feeling anyway. One of the things I've always loved is that Drag Race, with their photo challenges, has always made them like more of a hazing ritual or something than something that was intended to be taken really like seriously. And so I was disappointed to see a photo challenge being given so much authority over the outcome. So the only outfit that really like popped to me and like that I really was like yes was Manila's in the entry scene with the hat that everyone's been talking about with the long cigarette in the hand. I hate showing my hands because I didn't do nails. Whatever. I lost my train of thought entirely.